Welcome to the podcast Life After Addiction and Indictment. I'm your host, Steve Cloward, and I spent most of the last decade and well over $100,000 on coaches, consultants, masterminds, and events trying to figure out how to reclaim my life again. On this podcast, I'm going to share the tools, the tips, the tricks, and the hacks that allowed me to forgive myself so that I could reclaim my life again. I'll be interviewing experts in mindset, leadership, entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, branding, and so much more. I'm glad you're here. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Let's go! This is Life After Addiction and Indictment.
Hey folks, welcome to Life After Addiction and Indictment. Today I'm very excited about the guest that's joining me. It's somebody I've known for about 5 years because I've used the resources a company of his offers. That's phenomenal that we'll talk a little bit about. But I want to welcome Marco Torress to the program. Thanks for your time, Marco. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Steve. I'm looking forward to our chat here.
Well, you bet. I know you're incredibly busy, and so thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this. As I was mentioned a little bit earlier before we started recording, I really like bringing on entrepreneurs, really to give insights and just experience and wisdom to those who want to chase their dream, maybe they never have, or who have really gone through something very difficult that they're continuing to let their past get in the way of their future, because that's what I did. So, to give people a little bit about your story before I turn it over to you, I believe it was 2010 you created Marketing Boost. Is that right? Was that Book VIP that you started then?
That was Book VIP, and then we didn't get to Marketing Boost until 2017.
That's right. So, but anybody that's been online, social media, wherever, you had to have run across ads from Book VIP. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the largest online, travel, basically booking for travel in the world.
We were certainly one of the fastest growing in North America for many years, and still doing well.
Well, let's have you kind of start about, what got you to start that, and what were some of the things that helped you have such mass success. One thing that blew me away when I first came across it was how many video testimonials you have, because as marketer today, I do a lot of that myself and other marketers. Social proof is huge. I mean, that is a massive thing to be able to document that. And you guys just crushed that.
Yeah, we did. We certainly did. Well, Steve, for starters, I can kind of go back and give everybody an overview of my life in business, and a little bit about that starting over, story that you have with addiction and indictment and coming back out and getting back on top. In my case, I've been an entrepreneur since a very young age. I started at 9 with a paper route, and by the time I was 12, I had the biggest paper route that they'd ever seen, and I was featured on the front page of the local newspaper. At 23, I owned 5 restaurants and a nightclub with my older brother and my mom. Went on to sell some of those to Taco Bell that we were in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Oh, and wow. They wanted in on the island, so we sold there some of the mall locations we had. Anyway, long story short, I got into the internet marketing world in the mid '90s, and so I've been a very early adapter to internet marketing. It was back in I think I might have helped Al Gore set it all up. I'm just kidding.
It was in the '90s. Damn close.
I've been around long enough anyway. So we were marketing online before Facebook, before Google, before we were doing pay-per-click ads. We were mass emails and email spammer before they called it spam. So
that's great.
But anyway, I sold myself into a corporate role as the solution to their internet marketing. And I ended up with an employee business relationship where I had all the upside to make and work versus just being a salaried employee. And we ended up generating almost $1 billion in sales from the internet from the year 2000 to 2008, which came to a crashing burn overnight in the crash of the economy in 2008 and 2009. And I couldn't believe it myself. You know, I had to lay off 2,000 employees, and then I got laid off.
Wow.
And you know, you talk about crashing and burning and hitting rock bottom. And I had, you know, my mistake was I had too many eggs in one basket there, right? I had all my, I even had a business of my own, but it was tied to the same industry.
Yeah.
And so it hit hard. And then I thought, you know, I'll bounce, no big deal. I'll bounce, you know, corporate level somewhere else in a similar vertically into another role. And that didn't happen. You know, before you knew it, I'm running out of, you know, had one of my best sales years ever, 2009. Heck, I mean, I sold my house, my cars, my boat,
yeah, I was right there with you. That's exactly when mine went down.
Oh, that's so. Great. I mean, it was literally like, holy smokes! I've got to realize I kept trying to live and maintain that same lifestyle until the money was running out. And then I'm like, oh, this is not working. So it was Craigslist ads. It was, you know, selling off everything. Before you know it, I'm literally starting all over. And in my mid 40s, close to 50 years old, that was no fun to be like, whoa, you know. and as we were talking before you hit the record button, when you've got to start all over, whatever the situation is, whether it's from dealing with something in your past, you know, you don't come out of it overnight, and you've got to set your mindset right first, because I definitely felt victim. I felt like a victim. Why me? Why is all this happening to me? Why am I losing everything? Why did I, you know, work all my life for this and it's all gone? And then rebuilding it forever. And it did take quite a few years. But one of the things we did, Steve, was I leveraged relationships, and I got back in business with guys that I had done business with previously. We all found ourselves in similar boats without a lot to offer, except we'd all been there before. We all knew how to be successful. And now we're starting from, you know, scratch. We're putting together what little capital we had left and ideas we had. We couldn't, none of us could have afforded to have hired each other. So it was, you know, form a partnership. And I've always had partners in my business throughout my life. And I think that works, because partnerships can work well if you're a good partner. If you're doing your part, the likelihood that your partner is going to do their share is strong. You know, you're going to, it's like a marriage. You get what you put into it. So if you expect the other person to make you happy, that's not going to work. You've both got to work on it. And so my partnership relationships worked, and we launched in 2010 to 11. We started building bookvip.com, which started to grow and become one of the fastest growing travel sites in North America. We became experts at Facebook marketing, my partner especially. And we conquered, you know, we divided and conquered. So we would, you know, we were four of us. So one of us would focus on the financing, and one of us would focus on marketing, the other in sales, and the other in resort and hotel relationships worldwide for our business. And anyway, it grew.
Do you mind me interrupting you for just 1 second, Marco?
Sure.
I apologize, but you know, what you just said there, and the difference of what you did versus what kept me stuck for a longer period of time, is you used your network. And I had a great network. I still do. But I, for whatever reason, just continued to stay stuck, kind of just staying in my office, you know, because where my success came in the past, even though it was me and my businesses, but it's all about relationships, you know. And then, as you mentioned, guys did join after you came up with what you were going to do, that synergy of having different people focus on different things can be magical, you know, with the right people.
Absolutely can be magical. And, you know, if it doesn't work, move on, start something else. But anyway, relationships, just like Grant Cardone says, I like this saying of his, you know, if your net worth is not growing, maybe it's time to change your network and your circle of influence. So if you don't have, you know, if your friends are holding you, if you're not growing, it's probably, you should be changing the circle of people you're hanging out with. So you know, step that up a bit as often as possible. Keep trying to step it up and change that circle. But anyway, what else? We started that, and then, you know, the growth of the business really came, and you brought it up. You hit the nail on the head earlier about the video testimonials. So we were trying to scratch our heads, and we were thinking, you know, if we only had video testimonials, we could probably leverage that into thousands of additional sales if only we had social proof. Because on bookvip.com, by the way, it was, anyway, yeah, we wanted those video testimonials. And so we were scratching our head going, what would motivate people to do that for us? And we came up with an idea to do two things. And this is a takeaway, Steve, any business owner can use immediately. And that is, one, we would do a survey when we expected our client to be at their peak of happiness. And I recommend any business do this and be in the habit of soliciting reviews or testimonials all the time. And the best way to do that is to do a survey where you hit them, you ask them, you survey them when you think they should be happiest with your service, whether that's immediately after you installed it, or when you completed the project, or a month after completion, or whatever. In our case, it was the day after they checked into a hotel. We were selling travel. So we said, let's do a survey, send them an email and a text message the day after they check in, and say, hey, how's the hotel living up to your expectation? How are we doing so far? What do you think of our service? And if we asked them to scale us, give us a rating of 1 to 5. And if they gave us a 4 or 5, we'd immediately send them back going, hey, would you do us a huge favor and help us? We're glad you're having a great time at that hotel. Would you help us spread the word about that property? Give us a video review of from the restaurant, the bar, the pool, whatever you like best. We'll reward you with a complimentary hotel stay if you go that extra mile and give us a video review. And they started to come. Then they started to come in by the dozens, and we were publishing those all over our website, giving people the social proof we needed that we were for real and that our prices were for real. And it just took off like a rocket.
You know how many you have now? Because I know at one point, I think I read, and I don't know how long ago, it was over 10,000, I believe.
Yeah, it's about 30,000 video testimonials right now.
That's
from happy travelers and resorts all over the world. And of course, that social proof, eliminates a lot of the, and you can't really fake a video review from the resort, beach, the pool. You can pay for written fake reviews, but you can't really fake video reviews from the resorts, the beaches, the pools. I mean, if people didn't like their stay, they wouldn't be filming themselves and bragging about it.
Yep. I love how you said, you figured out to send that one. You believed that'd be the happiest. That's so key, I think.
The key to that was that, because if they weren't happy, by the way, if they did give us a 1, 2, or 3, we wanted to know that too, so that we could jump on it. Maybe we could help solve the problem. We could, or at a minimum, we were allowing them to vent with us instead of publishing some negative review online. And then, or we could at least try to solve the problem. And then we were getting all of the positive reviews and publishing them everywhere we needed to. Now, the beauty now, what we were promising was, by the way, we would promise them a complimentary hotel stay, a bonus trip, if they would give us that review. And of course, that's one of the incentive we were giving them, that why they were giving us so many video reviews. Yeah. And then we had all these people. Then we had those people raising their hands and going, "Hey, Marco, how do we get how do we get our free trip you promised?" And we're like, "Oh, smokes, this is getting expensive. We got to dig into our pockets and pay for those rooms." So we came up with an idea. Let's go back to our travel partners, because we were a high volume, travel partner. We went back to them and said, "Look, we know you've got a problem and we can fix it." And this became, by the way, the story of how Marketing Boost came about. So we went back to these hotel partners and said, "Look, you've got a problem. We think we can solve it. Your hotel's never full. Let's be real. You're full on certain weekends. You're full for peak season. You're full for holidays. You're full for special events. But the majority of the year, 70, 80% of the year, 30% or more of your rooms are going empty. We can put some warm bodies in those rooms, families, couples, individuals. They'll spend money at the restaurant, the spa, the casino, the bar, room service, the gift shop, the excursion desk. They'll book extra nights." And a couple of them said, "Okay, let's give it a try." So we had a few in Orlando and Las Vegas agreed to work with us, giving us rooms for next to nothing or free. And now we were able to fulfill all those free trips we were giving away.
Jeez.
And this was like, whoa, this is genius. Then we thought, can you imagine if we had hundreds of hotels in destinations all over the world, we'd have another standalone business. And that became what is Marketing Boost today, Steve, where we provide, you're familiar with it. I didn't even realize you've been a longtime user of our service. But what we provide is the ability for small business owners or big business owners, but we give the small entrepreneur the ability to look like one of the big guys, because we're giving you high value, high perceived value in travel incentives on a subscription plan. So we make it super affordable, and which is one of the things that sets us apart.
Incredibly affordable. It's crazy and cheap, actually. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah, it's only what, if you don't mind me saying, it's only $37 a month.
$37 what I'm paying.
Yeah, and that gives you the ability to give away an unlimited amount of travel incentives to enhance whatever your call to action is. And Steve, we found they work in all kinds of businesses. I think you were telling me before we started recording it, multiple businesses you own that you're using them in. I'd love to hear those stories, but
they're great.
Yeah. So that's the
phenomenal.
Go ahead.
No, I apologize to interrupt. I mean, when I first came across it, I don't even know how I did, but I didn't believe it at first, and that was when it was more than Vegas, Orlando, but you were pretty new. I mean, if I remember right. And I mean, I have a staff that handles that now, but I did go on there a couple of months ago, and the locations now around the world just blew me away. I mean, to give away a 3-night stay to probably, I don't know, 60 plus locations now, but also, some 4, 5, and 6 nighters at just some of the best resorts in the world is just, it's such a no-brainer for the business owner. There's so many things you can do to leverage off of it and build off of it.
So we now have 3 categories of incentives. One is complimentary hotel stays in over 125 destinations around the world, from 3-night stays and like 30 destinations in the US, Orlando, Las Vegas, Miami, San Diego,
San Antonio, Branson. I mean, it's unreal. Nashville, it's
30 US destinations, all the top tourist destinations. And then we've got destinations like 5 nights in Cancun, 5 nights in Hawaii, 4 nights in Cabo San Lucas, 5 nights in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, 7-night stays in places like Phuket, Thailand, Bali, dozens of destinations all over Australia, all over Europe, Singapore, Philippines, Asia,
Thailand, I remember
India.
seeing.
Yeah, so it's a full. We're worldwide today. Yeah, we offer these to worldwide. Then we have hotel savings cards. Now, by the way,
that's right.
For anybody listening, these they don't include airfare. Obviously, they don't include food and beverage at the hotels, and they don't include the government taxes and fees. So really, that's the disclaimers that any Marketing Boost member needs to basically tell a client when they're giving them the incentive. It's basically design your campaign or your landing page or your the disclaimer to say, hey, I'm going to give you a complimentary hotel stay when you take this action today. It's the hotel stays on me, but it doesn't include airfare, it doesn't include food and beverage or the government taxes. So if you disclose it like that, you basically set the proper expectation. And then we have the hotel savings cards. Those come in increments of $1, $2, $3, and $500. And the reason we have those different increments is so that you can create your campaigns based around your call to action. So if your call to action is, hey, sign up for my newsletter, maybe, and I'll give you you only want to give them what I call a micro incentive with a micro call to action.
Yeah.
So you might say, sign up for our webinar and get $100 hotel savings card just for showing up for the webinar. And then at the end of the webinar, you might say, sign up to our server, buy our product and service today, and we'll give you a complimentary hotel stay in Las Vegas. So in other words, you can,
get them in the door on the lower end, and then you get them to the higher commitment with that better. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's on a couple of our thank you pages after somebody opts in. And
then the last thing we have, the one we have is restaurant vouchers, restaurant savings vouchers. And same thing, those are good at about 55,000 privately owned restaurants and businesses throughout the US and Canada. And they'll get discounts. They'll be buy one, get one, 10% off, 25% off, 50% off. It all depends upon the participating restaurant. And so Steve, those are good. Again, kind of the same thing with depending upon what the call to action is. So I've had, we have thousands of business owners use our service, and they can use them from anything from getting people to book a Zoom call and no obligation appointment, 20-minute, let's have a chat and see if we're a good fit to work with each other. And one of the problems a lot of business owners have today with appointments, right, is people book an appointment, they don't show up.
Yeah.
So you can use one of our incentives, and I recommend one of the smaller ones, just to entice people to actually book the appointment, and then all your email, text message reminders to show up for your Zoom call or what have you can be automated with a reminder. Hey, show up on time. We think your time is valuable. We think ours is as well. So if you show up on time, we're going to reward you with a $100 hotel savings card or a $100 restaurant savings voucher. And you're going to increase your show rate. And bottom line, I mean, if you've got sales staff, if you can increase the amount of people show up for the appointments, it's going to end up doing what to your bottom line?
Yeah, increase your sales.
More sales, more belly to belly, like it used to be in the old days. More belly to belly meant you had more sales opportunities. Well, nowadays we do most of our sales calls on Zoom. We don't even have to drive all over town. There's never been a better time in my mind to be an entrepreneur than right now. There's so much technology available. There's so many, automation platforms, which we offer, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
There's, there's just so many cool tools that affordably that weren't available when I started on the internet in the mid-90s, where you had to learn how to do HTML code for anything.
Well, it's been incredible for you to see that evolution since you were such an early adopter to start. It's probably amazing just how easy it's gotten compared to what you were doing.
Exactly.
Unreal. So, obviously it's wildly successful. Your guys are still going at it and still growing it,
Oh yeah, we're definitely keep growing it big. Steve, can I ask you to share how you have used Marketing Boost along the way? Because you told me you've been using it in multiple businesses. And
yeah, exactly. The main business, we have used it, anytime that, you're trying to, whether it's build a list or whatever you're trying to get people to do, like you said, that call to action, everybody wants something. And for those that don't know the lingo, it's usually a lot of people are calling like a lead magnet, but we have used, my son's the one that handles it. And I did, I'm glad you brought it up because I'd just forgotten, but yeah, we've dealt with the restaurant gift cards. We've used those. And that is just to get somebody, like you said, to take action, basically to opt in. If they opt in, that thank you page does show them and actually, what they can get. And they don't have to do anything else. But then of course, that's when we've got their information. So now we do have people that call right away, but we also have automation follow up, behind it with text, like you said, and email. And then that is any new service does get a, free 3-night stay, other than like you said, the resort taxes. And of course they're, expensive to get there. And it really has been amazing. Like I said, I felt like I came across it early, to the point where, your company even built a custom video about TV service. And we used that. And then I kind of split with my partner, and I still had the membership, but honestly wasn't using it for quite a while. And then my boy brought it up, a couple of years back, and we started to use it, started to have some success. But frankly, until we got on, I was trying to think of the guy's name before we started, but, we just reached out and we got on a call with this guy who just, it was a Zoom call. There's a few other people on it, but just to basically to collaborate, to have that mastermind, to try to just, stimulate other ideas and ways to use it, which, help. And so it's, I'll bet we're giving away, I'll bet you 40 or 50 a week now.
Wow.
Wow. So it's
and that means those are something for you. They're converting leads, or their purchases, or their
those ones all for sure have all gotten new service, whether it's internet, TV, or home security. They've already, or mobile, cell phones. We do that as well. So it's phenomenal. It's, like you said, there's nothing you can do that I know of, at least, to incentivize somebody to take action, on something they're interested in anyway, for next to nothing as the business owner.
It doesn't cost you anything. You're right.
So cheap, it's
$7 a month.
And to give away unlimited, but also the resources. You mentioned Facebook ads. I had learned that about 7 years ago from a guy who's kind of one of my mentors named Billy Jean. But also, I've gone in your back office and seen all the resources you have, and you teach people. You've got courses back there to show people how to do Facebook ads. Literally built out, templated funnels, the whole 9 yards. So it's, I mean, there's not a better value out there that I know of.
Yeah, we really believe in over delivering on value, on teaching business owners how to succeed with and without marketing boost incentives. The marketing boost incentive is one of the tools. We're not the magic bullet that's going to save your business.
Right.
But if you've got a good product or service, you've already figured out how to make sales, and then the incentives can just add to it. And you know, a lot of business owners, Steve, they don't understand what I'm even talking about when we talk about what I call value add incentives versus, for example, discounting. And I like quickly, I don't know how much time we have on your show, but quickly,
at least if you got 30 more minutes, I got 30 more minutes.
Oh, okay, we can go. So the key thing, a lot of business owners or listeners always, like, well, I don't know how I would use incentives for my business. My business is different. I don't think people would respond to a travel incentive because, they think, oh, that's for you. If you're in the travel business, that makes sense. But how would that work if I'm in, insurance, or I'm in this?
It works in any niche.
It works in anything, but let me point out two incentives, businesses that use incentives that everybody will relate to. One, let's talk about Amazon.
Yep.
Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men on the planet, right? What did he do that captured almost all of us? One of the things he did was he created
Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And the whole idea, the incentive was, you buy Amazon Prime, you get free shipping.
It's brilliant.
And when he first came out with that, most of us didn't even know what Amazon Prime was. And what the heck is the video? Video streaming wasn't even very popular back then, but it was, there was Netflix, and then there was Amazon Prime, but in the very early days, what we wanted was free shipping. So we paid the $99 a year. We got the free shipping. And then what? Now we became loyal, glued to Amazon because we knew we got free shipping. So instead of, if you saw something on Macy's before you bought it, you'd go to Amazon and see if they had the same thing because you wanted the free shipping. And he won us all as loyal clients. What does McDonald's do? Here's another one, the Happy Meal.
Yeah.
Their Happy Meal generates about $11 billion a year in additional revenue that they can attribute to the Happy Meal, which does what? It is an incentive for the kids with the little toy in the box, right? So parents are pulling into McDonald's instead of Burger King because the little Johnny in the back seat's going to get the burger, the soda, the snack, and the toy, which will keep him busy for the rest of the ride. So he'll stop asking for, are we there yet?
And then mom or dad are going to end up eating that for lunch too. Spend a little more money.
So, exactly. So yeah, we're eating at McDonald's, and and we're buying the Happy Meals for the kids. And we're taking our eyes off of the price instead of comparing how much is the Happy Meal compared to getting the kid the burger and just the soda. We end up buying the burger, the soda, the snack, and the thing, and all kit and caboodle because it's got the toy. So they ended up getting more revenue from us than we would have bought for the child if we had just gone in and said, get him all he needs is a little burger. Well, now you got him the burger, the fries, the fruit, and the whatever came with the packages today. I don't know, but it comes with the toy, and now you spent X amount for the Happy Meal instead of buying just the smallest burger, and so forth. And so that became a huge revenue. It still is after decades. They never got rid of the Happy Meal. So my question to business owners is, what is your adult Happy Meal? And that's what marketing can do for you.
It's going to be the title of this show, by the way.
Stands out from the crowd. Yeah.
That's going to be the title of this show. What is your adult Happy Meal? That's great. But the psychology behind that, like you said, most people don't think about that, but that psychology that takes place, and then, the fact, like you said, instead of thinking discount, you could almost even charge more than your retail, but have the incentive, so you're bringing in more dollars in the end by a long shot than running discount.
Right. And that is the key. That's what I like to preach a lot is, instead of discounting, add value. And by the way, that can mean adding value. There's lots of studies, by the way, have been done by plenty around that people respond better to additional value than they do discounts. 10% off means something. But if you add in more units, more bonus, more value, buy one, get one free is, it still works every day in every retail store. And I don't know where you live, Steve, but when I go into the grocery stores down here in Florida, the first thing you see in the entranceways are these big baskets of buy one, get one free stuff.
Yep.
And,
I'm out in
and you
Utah.
end up stopping and picking up stuff you didn't want or need, but because so they're getting you to buy stuff you didn't walk in the store for, but now you're buying 2 cans of mayonnaise or 2 jars of mayonnaise when you didn't even have mayonnaise on your list. But now you think you're getting the deal with the buy one, get one. So you get 2 for $7. When if you walked in the day before, they put it on buy one, get one. Each jar might have been $2.95, but now you get 2 for $7 and you think it's a deal.
So true. It's such.
And then you bought twice as much anyway,
Yeah.
because you put 2 of those jars
Yep.
in your basket, and you're feeling good about it. You're walking. We respond to the additional value offers versus discounts. So that might mean if adding another month, giving the 13th month free on your annual membership. Maybe it's instead of a discounted price. Maybe it's adding additional coaching sessions. Maybe it's add course 2 to go with course A free. If you buy the course A today, you get course 2 with it as a bonus value. Maybe course B is what you wrote last year, but you can throw it in as a freebie today because it's not costing anything. You already wrote it, or what have you. So you're adding value with your own goodies, with your own widgets, your own additional units. But then if you can add, if marketing boost incentives make sense to fit in, to part of the call to action, trust me, it can. If you, play with it, test it, A/B testing, you can find that these incentives can really make a huge difference in your bottom line.
That's the key, because if I'm being transparent, that's the first time around we didn't really play with it and tweak it, and because that's what you have to do with marketing. You got to play around with, how to present it, and we're still playing with it now, even though we're having success, but there's still,
always trying to tweak it, to make it better.
And once you find that sweet spot that you feel like is really rocking, then, I like to say, once you nail it, then you scale it, And so, we're just continuing to tweak it and play with it, but it's definitely improved a ton,
That's awesome. That's
But
awesome.
a lot of fun, and it's nice, like you said, we've started to gather that social proof as well, and that makes it easy, a lot easier. We actually use it as well. If somebody gives us a 5-star Google review, so when somebody, books for a new service, so that we have a bunch of teams, basically affiliates that do all the sales, and then so when an order comes through that somebody's scheduled for new installation, they automatically are getting a text, and it does have a survey asking them questions about what, things to verify that they were represented by the sales representative correctly, that they weren't lied to or anything like that. And then after they're installed, then it triggers another text that asks them to give us a 5-star Google review and receive I think he's changed it to where it's the hotel gift card, I believe. But we've played around with that. We've done the 3-night stay as well. But when he started that, and this was only like 7 months ago, we have a screenshot of this. The very next day after he launched that, we had 5 Google reviews hit in a 20-minute span, and so it's simple to put that stuff on autopilot, to where,
yes.
because a year and a half ago, we were working on some things, and we were, having someone call the customers and ask them for the Google review. And, even, if you get them off the phone, they're rarely going to do it. It's literally even walking them through it. That was painful and not successful, frankly. You got,
Right.
you'd be lucky to get a couple a week. And
Right.
I'll bet you we average a couple a day now. So it's,
That's awesome. Yeah.
but there's all, it's just
it's just setting up that
thinking out of
automation.
the box, and just, getting creative, because there's so many different ways to leverage it.
Yep. The other thing that I recommend people do when it comes to soliciting reviews, and you may or may not be doing this, Steve, you might want to consider adding this. We throttle so we solicit the reviews, right? Through automation. And by the way, if I don't mind me plugging, we do automation on Marketing Boost. We have an additional platform called automationbooster.com, where we have the entire CRM platform. And the entire CRM platform includes all of this, from the sales funnel builder, with automating the Marketing Boost incentives to go out the door, and automation depending upon the call to action, the email reminders, text message, voicemail, broadcasting, the whole thing. But the key is,
You guys on high level backbone?
Yeah, exactly. And another way to possibly to do this is to solicit, throttle the reviews to different third-party review sites. So once you set up the
Oh,
automation,
very smart.
you can
Facebook
be
reviews.
sending some of them, please post a review
That's
on
brilliant.
Trustpilot. Please post a review on SiteJabber. Please post a review on, Google
Yeah.
My Business.
Yeah,
And then because if you're that way, without having to pay for those third-party services, because everybody, they're like extortionists. They want to charge you money from these third-party review sites. But you can have the reviews going there, and now you start getting Google to see that you've got reviews on Trustpilot, on SiteJabber, on Shopper Approved, and what have you. All of them are going to start showing up when people search your business name. And the fact that you've got reviews now, not just on your own website, but on other third-party review sites, that's incredible credibility. And you didn't, and now you're just like automatically sending some to these different review sites, and it's powerful. And even if you got a negative review on one of them, here's another idea. You get a negative review, you can use a marketing boost incentive to actually get to help solve a customer service problem.
that's great.
We've had many of our clients do that. They get on the phone with a client, go, hey, we want to apologize. Yes, we dropped the ball. We shipped the wrong product. We delayed on service, whatever your team did wrong. Hone up to it, try to fix it, and say, look, we're going to give us a chance to fix it, and we will. And just for your aggravation, we want to give you a complimentary hotel stay, 3 nights in your choice of Miami, Vegas, Orlando, whatever, just for your aggravation. And by the way, after we fixed the problem and I sent you the complimentary hotel stay, would you consider taking down that review?
That's great.
And they will, if you ask, they will.
Yeah.
Or you can even hold that review. If we fix the problem and I give you if I give you a hotel stay, 3 nights on us, would you pull that review down? They'll be like, yeah, we can do that. And sure enough, you fix the problem, and then you'll get the review removed. You give them a hotel stay. And what did it cost you? Nothing. But you got the review removed, which is very important in keeping your reputation for, people will look at your reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Buy from you.
More and more. That's just, I actually booked some stuff to go to California, take my daughter for a graduation trip this morning, and I literally looked at the reviews for the hotels. There's places I've stayed before, but I was thinking, let's try something different, and that's exactly what I did. And it's becoming the norm, really.
Yeah,
So,
and you expect to see some negatives, so that's not a big deal. Nobody, no one's going to have 100% of everybody happy, but obviously you want to have 90% of them happy. So that's where you've got, in order to have that happen, you need to be soliciting reviews from your clients, because otherwise all you're going to get are the negatives.
yeah.
As human beings, we normally don't go out of our way, and we expect to be happy when we buy something. So when we don't go out of our way to tell anybody when we're happy, we only feel like telling everybody when we're not. And then
I'm laughing because I did that literally last week, and I don't give reviews positive unless somebody solicits it. That's the only time. But somebody screws me over, first thing I want to do is go light them up. Right? That's what I do.
Every review site they've got, I want to tell them.
Yeah, that's so critical, and that's the thing is the things that you're sharing really make that stuff simple when it used to be so much harder,
Right. And then if you add the incentive to it, you can even get them to, for example, you might send them an email. You did a survey. They said, yeah, they're happy. Now you send them a link. If you'll do us the favor of writing your review, and you give them the links, make it easy, right? Please post your, write a review. And even if you post the same review, post it on Trustpilot, SiteJabber, Google My Business. If you would post your review on all three, and that would be such a huge favor to us. We will reward you with a $500 hotel savings card if you make that extra effort of posting on all 3 of these sites for us. And now you're getting the same review posted, positive review posted everywhere. And if they're negative, if they're not happy with you, of course, you're not going to send them a link to send you a review. If they're not happy with you, that's when you want to fix the problem. Well, whoa, get on the phone and have your customer service team try to solve the problem. And if you when you do solve the problem, then you might say, you know, how are you happy now? Great. How about a review? So you can turn somebody who is all bent out of shape in you into an evangelist for your brand if you're doing a survey and finding out who's not happy, so you can fix it.
I mean, that just this lesson alone that you're sharing here today is worth more than anybody know. You know, so many people take it for granted, but for those of you that are listening, if you have a business or if you're starting a business, this is some of the stuff that's foundational to your success. I mean, you know, I've shared on my podcast in the past. I learned from my grandfather who, you know, ran Brigham Young University food service throughout the world for 35 years. And, you know, when he retired, my dad was a dentist, but he had a full service car wash and gas station and C-store. And I dropped out of college at 19 because I caught the manager stealing, told my dad, so he fired him. And now I'm running the place. I didn't know accounts, all that stuff. You know, I'd worked in every part of the facility, but that's where my grandpa's just example. And then he, you know, watching him as a younger kid, but then he started just kind of hanging around the car wash, didn't say much, you know, but he paid attention to detail. But the one thing he did say that I've said on probably 2 or 3 of these podcasts is, Steve, if you'll give your customers the best experience, you know, the best car wash, best experience at a fair price, that's all you need to focus on. However, don't ever think that your employees aren't just as important as your customers, because without either one of them, you don't have a business. And that's all I focused on. And honestly, this had beat my dad up for years, absentee ownership. And you know, he was literally willing to just dump it at one point, and just, you know, learning from my grandfather that, implementing that stuff 2.5 years later, you know, he ended up selling, but, you know, he got close to about $650K more than what he was willing to walk, you know, just 2.5 years earlier. And I really contributed only to that. And the volume increased because we just went over the top on taking care of the customer, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're still, like you say, you're never going to satisfy everyone, because human beings, you know, have bad days. And, you know, just things that go on, they may lash out at you that wasn't necessarily your problem, you know, but they're going to attribute something in the experience. So, but anyway, yeah, that, you know, it really makes it simple with the tools that Marco's company offers. Is you can't go wrong. So I would, you know, I'll have the information for them to check your company out in the show notes and stuff. What was one of the biggest keys to your success outside of, say, you know, your videos? Any advice you'd have to that entrepreneur that's fairly new, or even this, you know, a veteran that, you know, could use some input?
Sure. You know, one idea, one thing I think many business owners make a mistake on early on in their business is they want to do, they have like control freak syndrome, and they're trying to do everything. They're trying to do everything themselves, especially at the beginning, right? You're trying to do everything yourself because you're trying to be on a low budget. You're trying to manage the budget, and so you're afraid to hire anybody. And when you think small, you're going to stay small. So I really recommend to people. You know, anything you do over and over every day, if it's something you do every day over and over, you need to make a business process out of it, and you need to outsource it to somebody as soon as possible. And in today's world, it's never been easier to hire people from Fiverr or from a million places to find incredible talent, whether they be here in your backyard or on the other side of the world. But you can find people that are incredibly skilled online easier than ever before to take over whatever is something you're doing over and over, so you can delegate that part and start looking at another part of your business to improve. And then what can you do next that you can improve on, fix, hire people better, smarter than you in that area of the business that you're not an expert on, whether it be setting up your automation, whether it be building your sales funnel, your website, whether it be writing your copy, whether it be, in other words, you don't have to hire people even long-term employment anymore. You can hire people
project to project to get things done for you, and then put it all together. Have those, once you've found some people that are good copywriters, good web builder, good, you know, then you can reach back out to them on a contract basis, and I need you again, help me finish this, help me finish that.
but trying to do it all yourself and trying to learn all the different technologies that keep coming and keep changing will just bury you in the details, and you'll never start making any money. So I really feel you got to, invest money in other people to get you to build a team. And again, it can be a team that you're only at the beginning, a team that you're only pulling on occasionally, but eventually it'll be a team that you need all the time. I need that web guy all the time. I need that IT guy, full time now. Now I need my, data entry person full time. At the beginning, it was 2 sales a week, so it wasn't much, but
It's such
after a while,
that is, that is the best advice that I know, because I've done it both ways. Got stuck working in my business where I can't work on it, and feeling like basically living in scarcity, thinking I can't afford it. Well, you really can't afford not to, And I have a guy that I call him a VA, he's overseas, but I hired him on an automation project with managed ad, Facebook ads, and that was 3 years ago. He's working for me full time now, and he's doing all the commission reports for all of our sales affiliates. And so that, between that
at the beginning, it feels hard to let go of something that you're doing, or
so tough for me.
Yeah, it's hard to let it go. It's hard to delegate it. And then as soon as you do, and you realize, wow, these people are, smart. And again, if they're not, so, if you hired somebody and they're not performing, it's not the end of the world. It's change. Find somebody else, because there's so much talent out there, so affordable, to get things done. And
it's unreal how some of their detailed and smart they are for the price you're getting. And same thing on Fiverr, for example, their reviews. You go read what people's experience are with those people.
Exactly.
It's simple.
You can. Yeah, it really does. You don't have to be the first one to hire somebody,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, and Marco, that's
my tip of the day. Don't go at it alone. Start delegating things to people and watch your business grow.
Well, the way you started the program, as far as, you got together with other people after you kind of had your fall, and how powerful that is versus staying stuck, just sitting there by yourself, which that's what I was doing for a long time. And then here we talk at the end, don't go at it alone. Get people to do things, You hear so many people nowadays online and coaches and consultants talking the solopreneur and all that. There's something to that when you very first start, but you need to start getting people you need to focus on replacing yourself in every area, and then even try to work yourself out of a job, That's the ticket, and then go build the next thing.
Until the point where you're just doing podcasts like me. That's about all I
Well, I'll tell you, brother, this has been tremendous value even to me, because you've jogged things in my memory that I'm like, gosh, why did I drop the ball there? And so this has been very powerful. So I really appreciate
surveys, solicit reviews, solicit video reviews, and throttle them, as some of the simple things we talked about, right? Just to bullet point it up. And of course, plug in the marketing boost incentives, and you'll,
bingo. We'll have a link in the show notes you can click on to go sign up for that as well. And, like I said, one of the big ones for me that just was like, duh, is diversify those automations so you're getting the reviews on different places. That's so easy, but yet we weren't doing it,
Right.
So that is just, you've given people so much value here today. So those of you listening, you need to listen to this probably again, because there is so much here that he shared with you. And obviously it's somebody that is on the top of the mountain, whatever that definition is to you listening, it's different for everybody, but I'm just talking, he's obviously very successful, relationships person, business person, marketing person, somebody that I'm definitely going to be trying to stay as close to as I can. So I appreciate your time, Marco. And I'd love to have you back down the road in 4 or 5 months. If we could do that, it'd be awesome. And just, you just have a ton of wisdom that the entrepreneur can really benefit from, because it's just, I think we're probably pretty close in age. And I swear to these days, I forget more than I remember, It's like, geez, what's happening?
Right. That's for sure. So again, it's a pleasure to be on your show, Steve. And can I throw a plug and tell people where to
I
go?
was just about to say, where can people find you? And once again, I'll have all this information in the show notes too. But yes, absolutely. Where can people go and
One thing I recommend any listener out there do is join our Facebook group. You go to marketingboost.com, simple as that. And on that website, you can find a link to our Facebook group where we have over 28,000 entrepreneurs in the group, where we're always sharing ideas and sharing the next webinar on how to, what have you. We've got a webinar coming up next Wednesday, by the way. It'll be all about generating leads on Facebook for free without advertising. So that's something listeners can jump on. We go to marketingboost.com. You get a 7-day free trial to check it out. It's only $37 a month after that, and join the free Facebook group. Thank you, Steve.
My pleasure. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And I'm pretty sure we're in that Facebook group, but I'm going to start paying attention to that myself because I'm actually more involved at times with building out ads. I have someone that manages it, but I'm still the one that comes up with the stuff. So I need to replace myself there too. But
Awesome.
Yeah, this has been great. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You too, Steve.
If you're a small business owner and want to acquire 5-star Google reviews on autopilot, Backbone CRM is the platform for you. It is the review and messaging platform for local business. It not only will get you your reviews on autopilot, it makes it easier to convert leads, message customers, get paid all in one place. Not only that, but Backbone will allow you to convert more website visitors into leads and more sales conversations with web chat. You can manage your messages with a single inbox for text, Facebook message, Google messages, web chats, email, and a whole other slew of social platforms. It'll also give you the opportunity, if you miss a call, to automatically text back. So when you're away, Backbone will follow up via text so you never lose another customer. You can grow your audience and know where each and every lead is coming from. Backbone is the all-in-one place platform to get you more leads and customers and Google reviews on autopilot. In fact, one of our clients that we onboarded last week, the day after we launched their company with Backbone, they received 5-star Google reviews the very next day, and they all came in within a 25-minute span. They were blown away. So if you're not afraid of getting more customers to your business, check out the short demo video at www.backbonecrm.io. That's backbonecrm.io, or you can give us a call at 888-668-5338.